Hey guys and girls, it's Ken here from OK Portugal. In this week's episode, we get our farm ready for the summer season. Joaquim brings around his tractors with a whole bunch of different implements to help us get the job done. Last week was 39 degrees Celsius. It was way too hot to do any work. This week it's a lot cooler. So as you can see, there's a lot of tidying up work that needs to be done around our vines and also around some outskirts parts of the farm. Not only does it look better, but it also ensures that I don't have a whole bunch of dry tinder lying around that's going to set fire to the farm if there's any sparks. The summer's coming, it's going to get mega hot, and this is probably going to be my last opportunity to do this. And just to give you an idea of what I need to do, you can see all this grass here. Fortunately, I have a strimmer. I'm hoping that I have enough two-stroke oil. I've got enough fuel, but I don't know if I have enough two-stroke oil. So here it is, the strimmer. It's all filled up, it's ready to go. Well, there you go, 11 o'clock in the morning and now it's 5 p.m. So yeah, 6 hours. Took a lot longer than I expected. There's no tall grass interfering with the grapes. And then later I'm going to take the lawnmower and I'm going to go down the rows and make sure that there's no tall bits of grass or anything like that, and it should look super neat. But for now, Joaquim has just arrived with his tractor and he's busy harrowing. So this is our front field, it's the one that faces the road, and Joaquim has brought his disc harrow. Check this out. So the purpose of a disc harrow is to basically break up root bundles and clumps of soil so that it's a lot softer and you can get it ready for planting. The discs on his harrow are about 30 centimeters, so they're like dinner plates, and only half of them go into the soil. And as you can see, it breaks up the soil quite nicely so that you don't get these big root bundles. Obviously, there's lots of roots that are buried into the soil, these huge clumps, and you can't plant in the soil like that. Now obviously there's lots of people who say that you should never dig in the soil and you should never plow. This isn't a plow, this is called a harrow, and it's not deep. You know, some plows go about 4 foot deep into the ground. This is going about 10 to 15 centimeters into the ground. So it's not really disturbing that much of the soil layer. And without it, we wouldn't be able to plant corn. You know, the corn has to be able to go into a nice soft substrate. So he's done the front field already. He's now done this part, which is on the side. We're skipping this little bit because I'm going to have this, well, this is usually like a lawn, but obviously right now it's summertime and I'm not irrigating. But this is an area where I want to have as a lawn. We've got our pool just over there. I want to put some sun lounges and a little place to sit. But the rest of this area here, this is getting ploughed. Not immediately around the house, because this area over here is for like the cars and stuff. This area over here is like a car park up to about here, and then going all the way down we're going to be doing the ploughing, and then we've got the bottom field down there, which is going to be the main area for the corn. I was just talking to Joaquim, and he says he's not going to be doing the big field at the bottom today because that's going to take ages, and it's like 6 o'clock now. So he's just going to do the little ones around here. We're also going to be leaving this olive grove, so we're not going to be doing this, fortunately. A lot of the times in Portugal they like to harrow the ground like this because it stops weed growth. So in the summertime you don't have to worry about cutting the grass and stuff like that, and you don't have to worry about fires. But in this olive grove I don't like that, because obviously you end up with the ground very lumpy. It's very difficult to walk on. So I quite like having the olive grove like this, where you can sort of, you know, you can walk through it. It's a nice little spot to like chill out in hammocks and stuff like that. But for these main field areas, I'm not particularly bothered. I was guessing that we weren't going to be planting corn in these main sections of the farm because of the dogs, because obviously it's difficult for Joaquim to get his sheep here, and for his sheep to eat that corn, they're going to need a shepherd to watch them continuously. Otherwise, what ends up happening is they start eating all of your trees, and they start eating all of your plants, and they're going to start eating Gina's lady garden, all of our grapes. So yeah, so if they are going to be planting on this sort of main section here, then when the sheep do come to eat, one of them's going to have to come down and just keep an eye on them and make sure they're not doing anything naughty. This day has actually turned out to be quite nice. The sky is turning blue. It was really gloomy and dull earlier, 26 degrees, so still quite warm. But now we're getting some beautiful skies, and I think the weather in the next couple of days is going back up to 30. It's the main reason I moved to Portugal, was to have this amazing weather. So yeah, I'm glad I had this little break where it's not 30 degrees and I can get like all of my outdoor chores done. But as soon as that's finished, I want blue skies, I want sun, I want braais, I want beers, and I want to enjoy the nice Portuguese summertime. Can't wait. These disc harrows obviously have discs, and the discs are slightly offset. So the ones in the front will be angled a certain way and the ones at the back will be angled a different way. And some of them also have like little teeth on them. By the looks of his one, he's using some kind of hydraulics, and that's probably going to be spinning the discs in a certain direction. I'm guessing it's probably spinning them in the opposite direction, you know, because obviously as the tractor's going, it's going to naturally want to go forward like a wheel. So that's basically going to be a very effective way of basically breaking up all the clumps and the roots and everything that's basically been growing in the field for like the last year. And then making it very dusty, as you can see, but the perfect substrate for us to put some seeds into. It's getting a bit late for me now, but tomorrow I want to go through this garden area of the farm. So this is kind of like our front garden. All of this is like the field area. And I want to get the mower, and I want to make sure that we get all these like little brooms that are popping up, all the tall stuff. Go around the trees and take off all the little bits growing at the bottom and try and get this place nice and neat. It's kind of the ugliest time of year for the farm. This is going to be our third summer, so we're kind of used to it now. You know, all of the green growth, all of the beautiful flowers and everything are gone, and now it's dry, it's dusty, it's hot. But don't worry, the plants, the flowers, everything's coming back again. You know, there's just a change of the seasons, and soon the farm will be all green again, green with corn. Joaquim's tractor has made short work of this field, man. It's amazing what these machines can do. So yeah, you can see it's done a good job. It's definitely broken up all the clumps. I mean, like the largest pieces are like that, which is pretty amazing. Imagine you wanted to prepare like 3 hectares of ground using like a fork and a shovel. It would literally take you months to do that. So yeah, or you'd need lots and lots and lots of people. Obrigado, Joaquim.
Ok.
Muito bom.
Yes, yes. Joaquim vai pôr o trator na parte de baixo.
Okay.
Depois amanhã telefona ao Ken.
Amanhã, ok.
Fazemos aquela parte. Não sei, 10 horas, 11 horas.
Ok.
Não sei. Depois eu telefono ao Ken.
Ok.
Trator.
No problem.
Dorme não.
Ok. Obrigado, Joaquim. Right, so wow, that's dusty. Joaquim is coming again tomorrow to do that bottom field, and yeah, he's going to phone me first. And oh, sure, it's a lot of dust. Whew. Let me just move out of the way of all of that. Right, so that's a little bit better. Yeah, he's going to come tomorrow again. I think he said around about 10 o'clock, between 10, 11, 12. Then he's going to basically finish that bottom field. Then we're going to be 100% done, apart from my little bits of mowing. So it's the next morning. It looks like winter today. It's a lot cooler. I think it's only like 20 degrees or 22 degrees today. It's quite early in the morning, and Joaquim has come to pick up his tractor. He's left it in our bottom field, and he's going to start harrowing. Bom dia, Joaquim.
Bom dia.
Tudo bem?
Estava a chover, Joaquim veio mais cedo.
Ok.
Ok?
This bottom field wasn't ploughed last year. We tried an experiment where we put down some seeds, and we were hoping that when we put sheep on the ground, that the sheep's hooves were going to push the seeds into the ground and you know, help propagate the seeds like that. Unfortunately, it didn't work because the ground is way too hard. You've got all those root bundles and the ground becomes like almost like a rock. So yeah, so this year we're going to go back, we're going to plow it again, as you can see. Again, I'm using the word plow, it's not actually plowing, this is harrowing. And after that we should get a nice soft seed bed. I can already see that this ground isn't as soft as the other fields which were harrowed last year. So, you know, already now this disc harrow is having a hard time cutting through here because it just gets so rock hard. And you've got all these root bundles and, you know, all sorts of stuff. It almost becomes like stone. As you know, I like to document what happens on the farm here. And every single year we document all of the harvests and all of the sowing and all of the harrowing and all of that stuff. And yeah, from experience, I know that every time we use one of these disc harrows, people, you know, a lot of people will write in the comments and say stuff like, you know, you should never turn the soil. And I do agree, you know, that in no-dig gardening, for instance, if you have a small patch of ground, it's not that difficult to put down some cardboard and some compost and to plant directly into that. But when you have 3-hectare fields, it becomes a lot more complicated. You know, we need to grow something like corn, so you need to have a nice soft substrate. And the only way to get that at this moment in time is for us to use a harrow so that we can break down all those clumps, all those lumps and all those root bundles. It's just not feasible for us to do a no-dig approach when you're dealing with massive pieces of ground like this. We're also in a country that you have to cut all of the grass and get rid of all the grass in the summertime. Otherwise you'll get fined because it becomes a fire hazard. So, you know, we do have a unique set of challenges here. This is a farm, this is not just like a piece of open ground that we can just sort of leave for years and years and years. You know, we are actually growing stuff in these fields, and yeah, at this point in time, this is what works for us. I'm not saying that this is right, I'm not saying that this is what you should do. I'm sure everyone has their own take on that. But this is what works for us, and until I find another method that's going to allow me to, you know, do the stuff that we need to do with these fields, this is the way that we're going to do it. And I also want to add that we do actually practice a whole bunch of different permaculture principles on this farm. We don't use all of them. I think there's very few farms that actually do. I mean, it's impossible to encompass every single one of them, have like a zero waste policy, etc. But yeah, we do as many as we can, and we try the things that work for us, and when something doesn't work for us, we adapt and we change. This is a little road. You can't really see it very well right now because we haven't been driving along it for a while. It takes you down to this bottom field, and this is where Bob the camper van is staying at the moment. So we're just going to leave an unplowed part so that he can get in and out easily, and then obviously the rest of the field gets harrowed like this. You wouldn't be able to drive on this stuff, it's very soft. We're also leaving a little patch around Bob so that there's place to like sit and put out sun lounges and stuff like that. So, you know, in case we just want to chill down in this bottom field with Bob the camper van and look at all of the green corn. This is a nice little area where it's not going to be planted up, and then the rest going down is all going to be planted. And pretty soon we're going to have 3, 4, 5, 6 foot high corn, bright green, all growing in this field. It's going to look amazing. And I can't wait for that, because at the moment everything looks really ugly, just dusty, dry, and it's hard to believe that pretty soon it's not going to look like that anymore. I love these little ant highways. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can actually see that they make quite a path where they clear everything out the way. And they've got this like little ant highway where they all cruise along, pick up seeds and do whatever it is that ants do. And there we go, looks like job done. So here's a closer look at these discs, and you can see they're a bit bigger than a dinner plate. They're about the size of a pizza, I'd say. And it's got the hydraulics on here that not only makes the wheel go down so that you can transport it on the road, but also moves these at an angle. So it kind of like twists them at a slight angle so that it cuts through the soil and breaks up the root bundles. Obrigado, Joaquim.
Até a próxima.
Yeah, muito obrigado. Até logo. And that is perfect timing. The rain's just starting to come down. I can get all my camera gear out of the rain. But Joaquim was just telling me that He's going to come tomorrow or the next day, depending on the rain, and he's going to bring something that's going to flatten it all out. It's something that he drags, flattens all of the soil out so you don't just get all these big sort of lumps like what are behind me here. And then he's going to plant corn. But he says he's only going to plant corn on this bottom field because this bottom field is something that can be fenced off. Then our doggies can't run down there and harass his sheep. So that's where he wants the corn, you know, for his sheep to eat in the summertime when it's too hot to grow anything else, where there's no grass and stuff like that. The rest of the farm isn't going to get that. It's going to get all flattened out, and then some other grasses and stuff are going to start to grow. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see all of that, and I'm going to document it all for you guys. Well, so much for me mowing the grass today. I think I'm going to stay indoors where it's a little bit drier. Summer officially started yesterday, and the crazy thing is that the whole of winter we had hardly any rain, and now all of a sudden we've got rain. I still know that it's going to be a super hot and dry summer, and I'm thankful that we have actually had a little bit of this now. Just to give a good old soaking, get the well levels back up and stuff like that before all the summer heat starts. Good morning, it's a beautiful day today. It's not raining anymore. We're going to be able to get some more stuff done. And as you can see, Joaquim's here. He's got his other tractor, and he's busy flattening out the fields. The disc harrow leaves you with quite big sort of grooves and funnels in the ground, whereas this device that he has on the back of his tractor helps to flatten and smooth everything out so you don't have these big lumpy fields. You can see this job can be done at a much higher speed than sort of traditional harrowing or anything like that. You're basically just dragging like a big metal cage behind that basically just knocks all the lumps flat. So he's driving in oval shapes. He comes down and he goes round in a wide sort of berth, as you can see here. And he doesn't go straight back up the aisle, he goes round in a big oval, up to the other end, and then he tucks in. And so he's just constantly moving outwards in big oval shapes. And I guess that's a much more efficient way than just going up and down, and having to do tight corners and tight turns and things like that. This front field is now done, and Joaquim's now moving on to the middle field parts. That was really quick. You can see he can do this at like a high speed now. And here's a better look at this cage. It's got a couple of like little metal teeth at the bottom, and you just drag it along the ground. Simple but effective. So it's doing a really good job of preparing the field, getting it ready for planting. Check this out. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but you can see it's really broken it down. You don't have any hard lumps in it anymore, or very few of them. It's nice and relatively flat, and that means that the seeds are all going to go in nice and evenly. So job done, and This is the implement that he's been dragging through the soil. You can see it's quite a tough thing. It's a big, thick steel cage. And there we go, it's done the job. Muito obrigado.
Kenny. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Ciao, Joaquim.
Ciao.
Ciao. And that is it for the week. It's been action-packed, lots of farm stuff, which is great because this is Portugal Farm Life. Let us know what you think of the video in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help us grow our channel. You can also help support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/okportugal. So make sure that you check that out. And next week we've got some cool stuff coming. He's going to be planting the corn, and well, you can actually watch last year's video of the corn planting right now by clicking on that link up there. So go and check it out. Otherwise, join us next week, same time, same place, for the next episode of Portugal Farm Life. See you then. Ciao.